Today we're going to talk about the power of being able to see. Before we start, I want you to go down and hit the subscribe button, please. Hit the subscribe button and don't forget to select the like button. At the turn of the century, we had two key things occurring. You have it transitioning from the industrial age, transitioning from the age where you had trains or horse-drawn carriages to the age where cars were being made. You see, but there was great resistance. You see, the people who maintained and fixed the wheels for the cart and the people who shoveled all the manure and all the stuff off the streets and the people who had the carriages were all resisted to change. They didn't want change. They didn't want the automobile to come into existence because they thought that they would be put out of work, not realizing that they could be retrained. They could be retrained to work in factories. They could be retrained instead of maintaining carts to be mechanics. They could be retrained in terms of becoming electricians. They could be retrained in terms of becoming painters and different facets that will be needed in the automobile industry. And that's what we're going to be sharing about today when we talk about the power of being able to see. Because a lot of times when you're not able to see, you can't see into the future. You can't have vision for what's coming. And if you don't have vision for what's coming, then you get left behind. We're going to share 4 main points today when we talk about the power of being able to see. The first point we're going to talk about is that insight comes with increased understanding. Insight comes with increased understanding. I'm going to use myself as an example there. A tutor. And I life coach. I do many different things in terms of developing people's potential. But I'm able to do what I do because of my knowledge base. You see, I not only tutor math or chemistry or physics or economics or English or reading or writing or thermodynamics or calculus and I could go on and on. I not only tutor those, I tutor quite a bit of things. So my knowledge base is wide, it's vast. And as a result of that, whenever I'm dealing with issues or whenever I'm dealing with a certain problem, I have such a wealth of understanding that all of that knowledge base comes to bear in terms of creating a solution. All of that knowledge base comes to bear in terms of coming up with an idea. All that knowledge base comes to bear in terms of helping the other person release their potential. So you see, with an increased insight comes an increased understanding because I made sure, and I'm still making sure, that my knowledge base is wide and vast. I'm able to pull from all of these different areas, and as being able to do that, I have an increased understanding. I'm able to listen to people. People are able to speak freely in their given task or their given subject areas, and I understand what they're talking about. Somebody could be speaking the language of physics, and I know precisely what they're talking about. Somebody could be speaking chemistry, and I know what they're talking about. Somebody could be speaking biology, and I know what they're talking about. Somebody could be talking in general psychology and all of that, and I understand what they're talking about because of my knowledge base, because of my level of understanding. You see, as you go out there, you want to grow your level of understanding. You want to grow that skill sets that you have. You want to make sure that you have, with an increased insight, then you'll also have a byproduct of increased understanding. Another thing I want to talk about, point number 2, is increased insight. With increased insight comes a leveling up process. So with increased sight comes a leveling up process. So whenever you increase, or whenever you sharpen your skills, you level up. You get better and better. You know, whenever you sharpen your skills, you attract the right people because you become paying not for your time, but people will value for your value. You see, people will pay you for your value. You see, it's not about your time, it's about getting back your time, but creating value. And as you create value, you will have a leveling up process where people will see you differently. You see, if you keep studying and you keep reading on a given material or a given subject area, I promise you by the end of 2 years, you will be an expert in that area. If you do it constantly, if you read one book a week, or even if you read one book a month and you just keep reading and you keep reading and keep devouring the material, eventually you start leveling up. Your sense of understanding in that area starts leveling up. And then all of a sudden you start learning the material in such a way that you level up and people are drawn to you because people are drawn to that wisdom. You see, in the good book, people were drawn to Daniel's wisdom. People were drawn to Esther's wisdom. People were drawn to Joseph's wisdom. Because you see, with increased insight came a leveling up process. Another thing we're going to talk about in terms of the power of being able to see is that with increased insight comes a change, requires a change in the environment, requires a change in the environment. And you could go back and listen to the power of your environment if you want to be refreshed on the fact about change in environment. You see, if you want to be sharp, you have to have sharp people around you. If you want to be smart, you have to have people around you who are smarter than you. If you want to learn, you have to have people around you who can sharpen you. Iron sharpens iron. You'll have people who want to read and learn and grow, and some people just want to sit around on the couch. You have to realize you could be friends with people, but you just doesn't have to hang with them all the time. You know, if they don't want to read, fine. If they don't want to grow, fine. You could say hello to them, hi to them, do whatever you want to do, but you go and hang and you develop those relationships that sharpens you. You develop those relationships that makes you, that forces you to be better. You develop those relationships that pulls the potential out of you and cause you to be good at what you do. A lot of times people want to reap the benefits of what you do, but they don't want to help you grow. They want to reap the benefits of all the blessings that you have, but they don't want to be part in the environment that fosters that growth. So be careful. You got to look at the people who sharpen you. You got to look at the people who elevate you. You got to look at the people who stir you and spur you to be better. Who tell you, come up here. The air is more refiner up here. Come up here. There's so much more potential inside of you. You see, as you do that and as you change the environment and you're leveling up and your understanding increases, what happens? You realize the very keys that you need for success was right there staring you in the face, and you couldn't see them because your eyes wasn't open to be able to see them. And that's the beauty of leveling up. That's the beauty of understanding. That's the beauty of being in the right environment. Your mindset, the way you think changes. And that's point number 4. We're going to talk about with increased sight comes a reading of stinky thinking. You got to get rid of stinky thinking. And how do you get rid of stinky thinking? I always use that bucket of dirty water analogy because it's such a good thing. You know, you have a bucket of dirty water and you get a hose and your water hose and you put it on full throat and you put it in the bucket. Eventually, over time, that bucket becomes clean. A lot of us, our minds are stinky because of all the negativity. People tell you can't do this. You wouldn't mount up to anything. You won't be anything in the world. You come from a poor family. You come from the wrong side of the track. You can't read, you can't write, you can't do anything. And they'll tell you all what you can't do. You want to do something in life, they look at you and say, you can't do that. So you have to go careful of that. And you have to go out there and you have to put that spigot, put that water hose in that bucket of dirty water, and you gotta get rid of stinky thinking. You gotta grow your mind so you start believing in you. You have to be your biggest cheerleader. Nobody will see your vision. Nobody will see where you're going clearer than you see it yourself. A lot of time people will never see what you're doing or what you're going to accomplish out of life. Number one, some of them are so selfish, unless you accomplish what they want, then they're not in it for you. Number two, their level of understanding is so low. Their level of understanding is so low. Number three, they don't have the right environment, and because they're not in the right environment, they can't see like how you see. So you have to go out there and have to learn that you are going to be your greatest cheerleader. You have to believe in yourself when nobody else believes in you. You have to get up every day and high five yourself and say, today I am going to be the best version of myself. Today I am going to win. I was born to win, and I'm going to win. And I am blessed to be a blessing. I want to walk in abundance. Go back and listen to the power of abundance, because I want to be blessed not only so I could take care of myself, but I can be a blessing to others. So I want you to go out there today and learn the power of being able to see. And before you go, hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button, please. And don't forget to select the white like button and share this with as many people as you can. I want to bless them as well. So go out there and learn the power of being able to see. And I believe in you. You will succeed. Keep going. Keep putting yourself to work and keep going out and keep getting done. And I'll see you at the top.